cities, laws, culture. These are things we take for granted today. But imagine a time when human beings were just learning how to settle down, farm, and cooperate in large numbers. How did these first civilizations form, and what secrets did they hold that allowed them to survive for thousands of years? Today, we'll unravel the mysteries of the world's first great civilizations, some of which you may never have heard of. To understand the rise of the first civilizations, we need to go back around 12,000 years. For most of human history, our ancestors lived as hunter-gatherers, small, nomadic groups surviving by following the seasons and hunting animals. But something changed. Around 10,000 BCE, the Neolithic Revolution began. People discovered agriculture, and that was a game-changer. Instead of constantly hunting for food, humans began farming, staying in one place, and growing their own food. This stability allowed for population growth, and soon, small villages formed. Over time, these villages grew into larger settlements and eventually into cities. But it wasn't just food that allowed civilizations to flourish. Humans also had to cooperate, create rules, and figure out how to manage resources. That's how the first great civilizations were born. Now, when we talk about the first civilization, we can't overlook Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. Mesopotamia is often called the cradle of civilization because it was home to some of the earliest known cities, such as Ur and Uruk. But why did civilization begin here? The answer lies between two rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates. These rivers provided fertile soil, making agriculture easier. But Mesopotamia wasn't just about farming. This is where humans first started writing down their ideas. The Mesopotamians developed one of the world's first writing systems, cuneiform, which allowed them to record everything from trade transactions to literature and laws. This invention was revolutionary. It allowed humans to pass on knowledge from one generation to the next, preserving culture, laws, and ideas. In fact, one of the earliest works of literature, the Epic of Gilgamesh, comes from Mesopotamia. And it wasn't just writing. Mesopotamians gave us some of the earliest known legal codes, including the famous Code of Hammurabi. This set of laws, written around 1750 BCE, outlined justice in clear terms and established rules for everything from trade to marriage. But here's the twist. Their civilization also faced major challenges: unpredictable flooding, invasions, and power struggles between cities. Let's move west, to a place that everyone associates with ancient history, Egypt. But did you know that Egypt's rise to civilization depended almost entirely on one thing? The Nile River. While the rest of Egypt is mostly desert, the Nile provided rich, fertile soil perfect for farming. Here's the catch. Every year, the Nile would flood, depositing fresh nutrients on the land. The Egyptians timed their agriculture perfectly with these floods, creating one of the most stable civilizations in history, which lasted for over 3,000 years. Their culture was so advanced that they built the pyramids, developed advanced medicine, and even had a complex religious system based on life after death. But Egypt's greatness wasn't just in its monuments. The Egyptians developed a highly centralized government, with a pharaoh at the top. The pharaoh was seen not just as a ruler, but as a god on earth. This divine kingship helped maintain order and unity for thousands of years, giving Egypt a stability that many other ancient civilizations couldn't match. And let's not forget their contributions to art and science. Egyptians pioneered early forms of mathematics, geometry, and even surgery, influencing not just their era but also future civilizations. Now, let's travel east, to the Indus Valley. This civilization is less well known than Egypt or Mesopotamia, but in some ways, it's even more fascinating. The Indus Valley civilization, located in what is now Pakistan and northwest India, flourished around 2500 BCE. But here's the secret. Unlike other ancient civilizations, the Indus Valley cities, such as Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, had incredibly advanced urban planning. We are talking about well-organized street grids, drainage systems, and even what seemed to be public baths. Here's something even more puzzling. Despite their advanced culture, we still can't read their writing. Thousands of inscriptions have been found, but the language remains undeciphered. What were they recording? Trade records? Laws? Stories? We just don't know. And to add to the mystery, There's no clear evidence of kings or large palaces, meaning their political system may have been completely different from other ancient societies. One of the most interesting aspects of the Indus Valley is how advanced their cities were. Unlike the chaotic growth seen in other ancient cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro were laid out with precision, suggesting careful planning and possibly a centralized authority overseeing the development of these cities. Lastly, let's move to ancient China. By around 2000 BCE, the first Chinese dynasties were forming along the Yellow River. Like the other civilizations, the Chinese relied heavily on the river's fertile soil for farming. But Chinese civilization had something unique. Early dynasties like the Shang and Zhou dynasties developed intricate rituals and ancestor worship, shaping China's unique spiritual and social order. The Shang dynasty, in particular, is known for its advances in bronze work and the development of early Chinese writing. This writing system would eventually evolve into the Chinese characters still used today. What makes China's early civilization stand out is how it built the foundation for one of the world's longest continuous cultures. While Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Indus Valley eventually declined, China's civilization continued to evolve, building on the early achievements of these first dynasties. But here's the fascinating part. While these civilizations laid the groundwork for the world we live in, they also hold mysteries we still don't fully understand. Whether it's the undeciphered language of the Indus Valley or the fall of Mesopotamian cities, there's still so much left to uncover.